Hello and welcome. We'll be getting started shortly. Hello everyone and welcome to HyperSpace on X. We will be joined by Ethan and Tufi Saliba. Unfortunately, Raymond can't be with us today. However, on Thursday next week, we will be having a HyperPG Ops Corner episode. We've been doing some AIM work. Raymond's spun up a couple of new aims in the Community Beta Node Operators program, and he'll be showing you how they work. And that's on the HyperPG Discord video stage at 5 p.m. UTC on Thursday. I hope to see you all there. How are you, Ethan?
I'm doing great, Antonis. How are you? Hello?
I'm good, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Very good
Yeah,
spirits.
I see two fees here.
Yeah, Tufi will be speaking shortly. For the benefit of new people, I'll just give a rundown of what is HyperCycle, what we're doing. HyperCycle is engineering network infrastructure for the Internet of AI. AI that's deployed with HyperCycle network nodes gains higher intelligence every fraction of a second or more revenue. You can own and operate network node factories. There's no previous technical experience required. We provide full education, support, and guidance. You can also, if you are a developer or an enterprise, deploy yours or your client's AI to the Internet of AI. Visit hypercycle.ai for more information, where you can contact us or book a meeting. And if you also head over to the articles tab on the X account, you'll see the Advanced Node Factory Enclosure article. The Advanced Node Factory Enclosure is represented on base chain, and that can have additional software components added into it. And we also have a hyper guide for setting up a node factory on the Ethereum chain. Due to a lot of interest, I have an update from HyperPG. People wanted to know how many nodes are in there. There is currently 3,606 factories on the base network and 4,362 on Ethereum. And that comprises of approximately just shy of 150,000 level 10 nodes. The IoAI, the Internet of AI, through the development of network infrastructure by HyperCycle, and this is by my calculations, is set to be the third largest network of nodes in the world in 2026, behind only cellular data, which is second, and the internet. That's the internet for humans, which is first. And we are anticipated to surpass Ethereum as the number one network of nodes when comparing to Web3. So that is a grand achievement that we're on the way to getting there. A reminder for those of you who are part of C8, if you haven't already, please claim your C8 software. There's also a guide in the articles for that, just tab over. And as many of you have seen, Node Market have now updated their UI. They've revamped the DApp, so it displays the C8 software, and that also includes the new pricing introduced, which is reflecting the valuation reports. As many of you know, we're currently in the global expansion phase. So for those of you who are new, or those of you who may have missed it, we are undertaking what we call nation birthing. We have Nation Zero, which is the GCC led by UAE, and we've just had the first ever nation, which is the Republic of South Korea, onboarded, and we are very excited about that. Over the coming 12 months, we expect a further 7 nations, if not more, to join into that. Our education program launches next week. And for everyone who has a factory, you can have access to that at no additional cost. We hope you enjoy it. I've had a look at the initial course. It's great. To clarify, it's called the 8-minute course, and the video is 8 minutes long, but there will be further content because there's a lot to learn. You can't learn it all in 8 minutes, but the initial 8-minute video will be there available, and it's a great starter. And then there'll be further rollouts of 8-minute videos. And just to repeat, if you do own a Node factory, you're entitled to claim your access ticket. A couple of updates. So a lot of people are asking around tilling score and inherited tilling, and these need to be reflected on the Explorer. We anticipate that the tilling score and the actual unlock mechanism, so this is when a node factory unlocks into 2 and then to 4, so on and so forth, producing eventually 1,022 network nodes. And we expect that you'll be able to actually have access to your network nodes around Q1 2026. And it'll be roughly then when the tilling score is reflected. As for the inherited tilling, so the inherited tilling from your origin master node, that will be displaying before the end of the year. Ethan, is there anything you'd like to add?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was just saying, is there anything you'd like to add? I know you're part of a CBNO. How are you finding that?
Man, I'm loving it. Yeah, I mean, we're working on some new stuff in there, and yeah, it's super duper exciting. I can't wait for it to be rolled out for the rest of the community.
Yeah, I'm finding the Node Manager really intuitive. So I don't have a background in development. I'm fairly handy with a PC, but nothing beyond that. But I think it's just a really simplified UI, isn't it?
It definitely is.
And I think we have 2 feet up on the stage. He is. Are you available yet, 2 feet? No, unfortunately not. He is currently double booked, but he will be with us any minute now. So I'll just wait for him to say that he's ready to speak. I think I've covered most updates. So if there is any question that anyone has, please feel free to ask now. I'll just have a quick look through and see if there's anything further people wanted to know.
Did you catch Tufi's talk on Roxham? I think you posted the link, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think it was a good
Yeah.
talk. A lot of
Yeah.
people are interested about the talk about the crypto and the division.
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm excited to dive more into this. I don't, for lack of a better term, bifurcation, if you will, or just different classes of how HyperCycle is going to start approaching things. With the crypto layer, and then with the enterprise layer, and for people to know more about that as well.
Yeah, me too. I think one of the things that people were sort of getting concerned about, and I don't know if you've seen this sentiment as well, with the advent of the advanced node factory enclosure and the additional software capabilities, that the node factory on Ethereum was now obsolete or didn't matter anymore, wouldn't have the same amount of effort. But I think you'll find the opposite. There is going to be a real renewed push into that, and there's some real intrinsic value in the node factory on Ethereum.
There
And
definitely is.
even,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, what we're doing in the CBN. Sorry, Ethan, I lost you there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think we kept talking at the same time. Yeah, no, I think there's definitely going to be some renewed interest in the node factories on Ethereum. Um, I think that it offers a lot of flexibility for people who want to take part in the Internet of AI, right? So, just for example, you could piecemeal together nodes, right? So, let's just hypothetically say in the future, let's say the price of and fees are out of the average person's range to buy, for example, right? Um, but you still have the node factories on ETH that'll be there, and let's say because you need 1,024 tokens to put together a node on ETH. Let's say the token price is up there, and you're not able to afford 1,024 tokens. An example of this would be you and a few people that you know could pool together tokens, um, enough for 1,024, and then another entity could have the license, right? And somebody else have the hardware, and so it just allows people to piecemeal or crowdsource things together. Versus with the Amphi, it's a one NFT essentially. Um, a business in a box, or business in an NFT, if you will. So again, I just think that it'll allow a lot more flexibility when there is high demand on the Amphi side, and the price range may be out of the reach of the average person.
Would you say, and this isn't my own analysis, this actually came from a Web3 builder who I was speaking to. And when I was explaining to him about the two, because he wanted a factory, and I was explaining to him about the two different factories, the Node factory on Ethereum and the one on Base. And he was looking into it, and he was looking into the software products. And he was saying he sees the Amphi as almost like a Windows 11. It comes ready to go. It's intuitive for the average user, uh, all set up for you. But the node factory on Ethereum, he sees as a Linux, where he says he can, add smart contracts, and there's things he can do with that. Now I don't know if he can, but he told me he can. There's things he can do with that that are really quite special, such as writing his own software contracts to deploy with his node factory. I'd be interested to hear actually from Tufi if that is possible, because it's the first time I've heard it. But that was his analysis. He saw the
Yeah,
Amphi
I think that.
as Windows and the node factory as Linux.
Yeah, I think again, yeah, it just adds so much more, customization ability. Um, So yeah, I'm super duper excited about it. I think that so with South Korea being code lead number one, as we get in code lead number two through the next seven essentially, I think there's going to generate a lot more interest for Anfis. Again, I anticipate, and this is not hypercycle statement, just my own conjecture, but I anticipate that Amphi to be in high demand, which again, the average person may not be able to just flat out buy an Amphi, and they're going to see the ETH node factories as viable options. And it just adds so much more, again, availability or accessibility and customization for the everyday person to join the Internet of AI. So that's how I'm seeing this play out. I'm super excited about it. I'm glad that HyperCycle had the foresight to offer various ways to access the Internet of AI, whether you're an institution, whether you're a country, or an individual.
So looking at this now, Ethan, if we're talking about the Amphi, and obviously the price comparison is quite stark at the moment, but it's one network. Uh, the Internet of AI is one entity. So one raises the other, doesn't it? And the other in turn raises that one back, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I
If
mean,
they
that's kind
the
of what
two
I was.
chains, then they are.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was just touching on. Was I think that once a lot of people see that there are little countries, right, coming in to hypercycle, via the Amphi, they're going to say, how do I get a part of that? And I think that the ETH node factory is going to be sitting right there to offer accessibility to just average everyday people, so that it's synergistic. The demand for one offers demand for the other. That's how I see it. The structure of this. Yeah, and I'm super duper excited about it.
Hey Tufi,
Cool. Hey
I
guys.
don't know if you caught
Yeah.
what me and
How's it
Ethan were
going?
discussing.
Yeah. I was
Yeah, good, thanks.
tuning in, listening while I was in still in another meeting, but I am with you 100% now. So it's so awesome to be here, and there's a lot of stuff. I like that analogy that you guys use. It's kind of cool. The node factory on Ethereum is like producing nodes, and those nodes, they're kind of like Linux, and the node factory on base is kind of like producing nodes. They're like Windows, or I think it's kind of cool. It's analogies, they never really describe uh, things or metaphors like what they really are, but kind of close. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff. What we're doing with those. The nation birthing, I'm not sure where that term came from. Some people, they don't like the term, but effectively it's land and expand. So when it comes to South Korea, for those that they've seen some of the pictures that they were posted from the National Assembly uh, from Seoul, we tried to keep things uh, as close to heart as possible until the Koreans, they actually announced it first. And in the picture, you will see certain people there. Like one of them is the founder of Naver. Naver, it's like the combination of if you imagine like Google and WhatsApp and Uber all in one company was there. But there's also a gentleman who brought the internet from the United States to Korea back in the days. He was also with us, and he spread it along with two others into 9 different Asian countries, and he plans to do the same with the Internet of AI. So right now, based on the GCC budget, the HyperCycle UAE, basically, we have the ability to cover 7 different nations with that model, because it's effectively $25 million that gets deployed from the GCC into Korea, so long as the Koreans, they read the deal or they saw it online. I'm kind of reiterating that, and I've pushed it on my LinkedIn as well. So that's the public information about the deal. So I'm not really divulging anything private, and effectively, any country that is capable of anchoring in their own country, in their own economy, 225 million into the Internet of AI is they're certainly countries that we need to talk to, because they would receive is the 25 million US dollars into their economy. They can spend it all there, and 200 million of node factories into their economy. What we look to receive in return is equity in that entity. So with the Korea, the reason why it's 850 that they have received is because the time that we started the conversation with them, it started at the backing entry at 1,450, but given the latest reports that they're going and noticing through their audit, and when their audit is finalized, their audit is basically will include covering the assessment by third-party companies, third-party certified entities, that they are looking closely into that. We only gave the name of Gartner and Accenture, but there's like 7 others. And any actually node factory owner can actually recruit those. So it's not like that they're working for us, that they do what we tell them. Not at all. Those are certified. They actually give the certification what they think it's worth. And they start with backwards with the node. So you own a node factory, it produces nodes. How much is that node worth to the world objectively, and not how much you believe it's worth? Like basically, does it add more intelligence to some AI? If the answer is yes, okay, great. How much would an AI be willing to buy it? $150 for the intelligence minimum. Sometimes they tell you $750. Okay, that's for intelligence. Now, what does it also do? Can it increase intelligence can it increase revenue for that AI? Yes. Okay. They check. They look how much more revenue it can increase, and they do their math, and it's like then they feel like that this node should be valued between, let's say, $500 and $2,500. The node, not the node, the node that is being produced by the node factory. For those that are new and they're listening to the first time, a node is not something that any entity in the world they can produce just because they think they should produce out of thin air. It doesn't work like this. It has to go through rigorous work, and that work is running that system, the Internet of AI, in a method that if you game anything in it, you will not be able to produce a node. So it's like effectively, if you work diligently, if you let the node work diligently, then it produces those nodes. So it has the history every 15 seconds, and that we call that tilling, and getting to know other nodes into the network, getting other nodes to let them know about itself and what kind of services it can run and all of the stuff. So if anyone anywhere in the world tells you that there's a company that they now want to print nodes and they put a stamp on them saying it's like it's stamped backed by Microsoft and this is it, this is going to be the internet, that would be more like somebody telling you AOL is the internet. We already know the story of AOL, and if you don't, you can look it up. AOL, they pretended to be the internet, and it turns out to be one company pretending to be the internet. The internet cannot be based on one company. It has to follow certain protocol that everybody can follow that protocol and get to that same destination. But the base of that is a finite set of our existing internet. It's IPv4 or IPv6, they're still finite. Similar with the telcos, when they connect the network, there's a finite phone numbers. It's not unlimited. You have to have a finite set. This one, it starts with a finite set, but it cannot be based on a single entity, because if a single entity does it, so let's say Microsoft one day say, we're going to print nodes out of thin air, why would Google want to use them, or Tencent, or Chinese government, or US government, or South Africa, or Venezuela? Like it's just like Microsoft can control that world, and it doesn't work like this. But if it's following a certain work and it says like the proof of work that is needed to run the system, and the proof of work that is needed, that it's requested for that from that AI to do certain work. All of those, they kind of put you in a certain objective reality, because every 15 seconds you're emitting those proofs that every single one of those proofs is irrefutable and immutable. So, so that way, anyone who wants to come in and play in this territory, they feel like, hey, there's a model in there. This is kind of unique. Sure, some people, they say it reminds them of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, this is like you gotta have the proof of work to produce work, but that's a very good thing to remember, because Bitcoin brought something into this world that did not exist before. Bitcoin, they didn't come and say, hey, we're gonna have another WhatsApp or another messaging system or another email or not. It's something that did not exist before. HyperCycle brings something into the world that did not exist before. And currently over 1,733 entities that they own those node factories. So even if HyperCycle dies, every single one of those node factories, they can operate independently in making those nodes. Okay, so this is a very, very, very powerful thing. So now that we're getting the nations, what each and every one of those nations, they get $200 million worth of those node factories, so long as they're backing them with $200 million of cash, meaning that they will have all of that capital to consume it to their territory that they want to cover, but it gives them the ability to, if they sell those like node factories for, like, let's say the base for $4,000, that they're backing it for $5,000 as per the announcement, it gives a lot of it reduces the anxiety from the buyer to feel like, oh man, I'm buying this, I don't know if it's good or not. Like they will be able to look into some smart contract somewhere, and then if they change their mind over the period of like 12 months, they can click on the button and get $5,000 for this. So long is so that the specifics on that we are not releasing yet until they push it, because it is their business, but it's effectively they would be, when if you're doing tilling in those node factories and after 11 months you're like, that's not for me, okay, there's $5,000 ready for you on the 11 months mark or 12 months mark, whatever that mark is. So that gives people that they're buying it feel like, oh man, it feels good, you know, like I bought this for, you know, $4,000, but if I press on the button and get like $5,000 for it after 11 months, as worst case scenario, that's fine. Now, why would they be doing this? Because they understand that if you've been doing optimized tilling for about 11 months or 12 months, and then you deserve that button to press it and say, like, you take it if you choose to, they will end up taking ownership of all of the stuff that you have produced. But at the same time, they become winners, right? Because now they have all of those node factories that already started producing nodes, and they will give it to the next person for more or whatnot. But it gives a lot of confidence into the market in that area, going that route. So doing this at nations level, that's huge. The Korean deal, for people that they haven't heard of it, you can look it up online, put on South Korea, National Assembly, HyperCycle on Google, and it will show up in about, they've over 60 news outlet that they picked it up, and that news came out of the UAE, the HyperCycle UAE. So that's super fast and rapid growth, because it's only September 15th, which is a month before that they announced the HyperCycle UAE, and how the HyperCycle global HQ moved into Abu Dhabi, and so in 30 days we got this. Now there's a few nations lined up. We still have room for others that they're not lined up. We will not talk about any nation until they announce it. Sometimes in September 15th, I did say that there will be some news coming out of a nation, but we didn't say which one, and it turns out to be South Korea. There's few nations that they lined up now that they're also leaders in certain territory, and they want to take it and spread it into their territory. So their strategy might be that they want to spread it and then talk about it, or they want to talk about it first. We don't know. We will wait until that moment. But all of those angles, they kind of solidify the true decentralized nature of the internet of AI. And the internet of AI is for everybody. It's not for us and HyperCycle. It's not for Tufi. It's not for anyone. It's for everybody. It enables every single AI anywhere to partake, to jump on it via any node by any node factory that is produced, because that's objective reality, as opposed to some subjective company that it's creating those things. So that's on that. I wanted to make sure to clarify that. Of course, we're doing the grassroots from the ground up strategies to get into those, and that continues, whether it is from education or spreading into small businesses in a lot of those territories, small to medium, I would say. Those are very, very effective doing things, and I think you guys already know some of the people that are doing it in Latino America, in Germany, and you've probably seen some of them. So those are continue to grow. Another thing that I will probably be able to announce in next HyperSpace or the one after, and it's via telcos. So we're talking to 3 of the top 10 telcos in the world. And for those that have done deals with the telcos, they know how long those they will take. So don't expect this to be an overnight success. But every single one of those, they're able to spread to hundreds and hundreds of millions of compute around the world, and they want to do that because they feel like they're missing out on the whole AI thing that is happening in the world, and it would be good for them to come in and spread into the world via the network, because that's what they do best. So that's also good for all of us, because we've designed a system that it's multiplicative. So anyone that one day they figure out a method to come in and do exactly what we do somehow, if they are the more intelligent they are, the more likely to realize that doing it in a interoperable way with your nodes, the better. I mean, by then they'll probably be like, hundreds of millions of nodes that they're already been produced by the node factories. So significant enough for them to partake. So that explains why we don't go mainstream 6 months ago. Why someone who's here, I can see listening on the call here, offered me about 11 months ago, or actually a year ago, hey, I can put you with Elon Musk next month. And then I said, we are not ready yet. I don't like to waste people's time. Elon's like busy with like a lot of stuff. Hate him or love him, the guy is busy, and I would rather we are ready with the inflection point before we get folks like that to learn about it. But at the same time, we give you, the node factory owners and operators, the ability to have something that is called network lock-in. So you don't feel like some massive amount of somebody comes in and get a method to have from 1,733 that we're super proud of, to have like 150,000 node factory owners, but they kind of like they do something screwy and whatnot, and that you would become irrelevant. Instead, they would become more relevant, because they feel to make it interoperable is better for them and better for everyone. So it's important to tell the story, tell people, but not to kind of like talk more than what we do. We have to always like talk less and do more. And sure, we can iterate. If anyone is going to restrict us from iterating, you gotta scratch them out of the picture. I've been in startups all my life. Iteration is what we stand for. If we said we want to go and have some sort of partner for gaming company compute, and then let's do this, but then we realized halfway through that is going to reduce our impact globally, or gonna get us too much distracted, then we iterate, and we can through that iteration we can skip that pivot or put it on hold or not proceed so actively in it. We do those things all the time. Yeah, we have to continue doing this stuff to grow. So that's basically the 3 channels that they are progressing in mainstream internet, and we're progressing really well. Now, I heard before joining that some people are interested to see like what are we doing for crypto, because there is the world of crypto that they see that this HyperCycle is not really crypto. They don't really like those pump and dump schemes. They don't, if they try to reduce, the methodology that enable people to do pump and dump is not there. Like they kind of pull, like for those of you that recall, we pulled all of the assets from Ethereum, $2.5 billion, put them on $2.7 billion, put them on Base, and put it in under contract that it's called the ERC-721, that it's like non-fungible, which means that it doesn't allow people to come in and do those kind of games. Okay, so all of those are done. We also benefit from, we do a lot of audits on every smart contract that we push out, because people that they want to use smart contract, that's also very good stuff that objectively speaking, those are good stuff that they came out from the crypto world into the rest of the world. But the also objective reality, whether you like it or not, those that they only play the games of like tokens or whatnot, some of you, they play that, by all means, you can play whatever you want, you can even play in the casino, but we don't play those games, and we resist on playing those games, and we continue to resist to play those games. And many people, they remember about a year ago, they said like, oh, what's happening? Like, why there's like the whole separation from like the singularity, whatnot. Well, it's certainly, we assured everyone between Dan, myself, and Ben, we're tight as it can be. But it's more the whatever partnership that they kind of got into and whatever things that they got into, we didn't necessarily feel that is a territory that it's recoverable for the Internet of AI. We need to maintain solidifying the ground and grow slow but steady. So in network effect, and if for those of you that are very familiar with that, the network effect theory and all of the studies that have been done in mathematics on that, having a solid base is extremely important. So a year ago or 18 months ago, we talked about having 4,500 owners of node factories, but when we realized that the solid base is at the time was like 900 or 1,100, then we changed that and we corrected it. We said it's actually 1,100, and now 1,733. It's still less than 4,500, but it's a solid foundation before we hit the curve towards the network effect. So some of those entities, they're super duper large, and some of you have heard the news in January that was announced by a client of our clients or partner of our clients, which they're building their entire AI on HyperCycle. They call it HyperY, and that's like the YMCA, 65 million beneficiaries globally with 12,000 offices. So that was announced by their Secretary General in January. And they continue building a lot of cool stuff, and we continue working closely with them. So all of those methods there, they continue progressing in parallel. And all of this preparation is to tell you about one other methods that we are entertaining right now, and perhaps taking it seriously. Could be by next week, because we're accepting proposals from folks, and it's like, what do we offer to those top 1%, 2% from the crypto world that we keep talking about, that in crypto world you can find the best people, you can find the worst people, but those best people, what can we offer to them? What can we do, something that can enable them to truly partake in adding value to this world, and without having to scratch that entire crypto? So we started a conversation with one company that they're interested into coming in and saying that they would buy nodes, not node factories. They're interested in buying nodes. They're like, node factories, it's kind of like you're telling me I need to buy Bitcoin mining machine or whatnot. Like, I don't want to be dealing with stuff. You produce, you do the work, you produce those nodes. I'm interested in buying the nodes. So you have some nodes that they're getting released. So we have L10, they produce L9s. And then when L9s they produce, those are two smaller node factories, but they also act as nodes. But what happens when L9s they produce L8? What happens to L9? L9 becomes like node only. It's no longer a factory anymore. It's just a node only because the L8s they took on the factory work. So L9, when it becomes a node only, that fractions of a second, every node factory that produces to that fractions of a second is equal to another node factory. Why? Because it has a ratio of 2.0. It is automatically, it does that. You can't stop it from doing that. It gets to a ratio 2.0 and it goes like, boom, there's the 2L8. Now L9 is like equal to any other L9. And the same happens when the L8, they give L7s equal to any other L8. They just have a ratio of 2.0. That's what they do. They end up like getting equal in value or in perceived value by other AIs, because other AIs, they're looking at that ratio. So what that means that if this entity, they want to come in and buy up to 10% of all the supply that we can ever generate or as a community, or 20%, we don't know, because we were going to talk to many of them. So if any of you know of some entities that they're interested into exploring this is the time to talk to them. Would love to an intro, and we'd appreciate it. But I can tell you so far what these guys they're looking. They say it's like, okay, so you have a node that it's been on L9, the first generation, that is being liberated. No, I shouldn't say liberated. Released. So it's produced now, but then when it produces the L8, the L9s they get to be released. It's a lot easier for us to go and tell the world there's a rigorous work that's been done to producing those nodes. No one can actually get them faster. We've got access to those nodes, and we can have a representation of those nodes in our coin called, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum, or called WBTC, for example, or maybe we call it W node. Okay, so if you call it W node or W something like wrapped something else, HPC, whatever you call it, whatever they call it, but that wrapped, it's effectively it's like a coin or an ERC20 that they can do whatever they want to do with it. But that represents a node. So if it's automatically traded, that can be done via smart contract to be exchanged with a node, which is represented by an ERC721. That's how you prove that you own a node. That's great. But what do they do with this? Well, what they do with this, they can enable a lot of liquidity, a lot of cool stuff for a lot of people around to come in and partake, so then we can grow as a community to millions of owners rather than 1,733. So they come and say, hey, Anthony, you have a node factory. Okay, so the first node that you're going to get released, first L9s, you're going to get 2 of them. This rule here, it's kind of cool, because I'm willing to offer to buy half of every production that you get. So your node, it seems like it's estimated to be worth, let's say, $700, the node, by those third-party certified agencies. But this is like, let's be fair, this is let's maybe this is down the road, maybe this 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, because that when that node is being released. But how can I lock you into continue your work, and in the first release that you've got, let's say it's happening in 9 months, I give you $21 for it. maybe it's worth 9 months 150, and maybe it's worth 700. Nobody's selling worse than less than 150, but I'm going to give you $21 now. So, Anthony, I talked to him yesterday, actually. He said, no, I'm not going to sell for 21. Although, like, that means that the Node Factory on that, if you go and project that on that same price, that means he's going to get $21,000 for his Node Factory, but he's got better plans. It's great, good for Anthony. But some people might choose that option, okay? So this is super cool, because whoever chooses this option is good for them. That's why they're choosing it. But it's also good for, Joe Sixpack, who wants to buy this, let's say, what this company does, whether they do it through a coin, whether they do it through ERC20, put it for Joe for like, $66 maybe or whatnot. It's still like a lot less than 150, but it's good for them. They're selling for more, or maybe they don't go that aggressive. Maybe first they say, Joe, we'll give it to you for 25 or whatever things. They have a huge delta that they can operate in, and we're talking to folks of how they can roll it out. But what we have done, we said if we follow that same model, what would it be for the second generation? How much are you willing to buy, let's say, next month? So let's say you do December 19th to January 19th, and you're buying, pre-buying like those at, let's say, $21. And then February, how much you're willing to buy the ones that they get released a year after, and then 18 months after, and the month after you do, like, you keep going for all of like the release schedules that we know that Anthony is going to produce, and you put them in that pool or smart contract, something like that, and they send you $21, and you, let's say, 29, then 68, and 114. If they buy half of all of the node productions, it turns out that the minimum, based on our discussion with these guys, the minimum that Node Factory owner would get from that deal is $3,000. Okay, great. Node Factory owners will enjoy that. They will enjoy that because they're able to get Joe Sixpack to also partake. Everybody wins. And where's all that money coming from? Well, in this entire wealth creation that we keep talking about, it's kind of like a lot of people, they're partaking in it, while offering some of you that you are mega, wealth creation entities to split that a bit and become like maybe semi-mega, but in the same time, you have 500 other folks that they want to partake in this. So if that's the game that they want to play, we continue refining with them to make sure that if they want to go in that route, that it's actually as protective as possible. So then we don't end up with a situation where they go and do any like pump and dump or whatnot. So it's actually going in the direction that if Joe Sixpack is spending $66 to have that ability, what is Joe Sixpack is getting from that? Is he getting some proceeds? Are they going to list that as a security? Is it going to be utility? All the details being figured out, but that would be another avenue that we're looking seriously at for two reasons. Reason number one is more value to the Node Factory owners, because now there's more demand. The people, they want to buy your nodes. The more we bring demand to the nodes, the better. Okay, so every single deal that we do, everything we do day in, day out, whether we go to South Korea or we go to Alaska or whatever we do, is getting more demands for nodes. Okay, this one also brings more demand for nodes. This is great. So the results of that is looking like it will be very good on that multiple win-win situations, and we're excited to see how that rolls out. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, HyperCycle is a company that doesn't want to play with this whole crypto world, does do whatever things you want, things to be steady and all that. Okay, great. And it's playing with all of like the mainstream, whether it is government, banks, and all of the stuff. It wants to have that huge wall of separation, saying like, guess what, guys? Anything that is like, let's say, HyperCycle Corp is like pure old school fiat and all that. If you come to me and you say you want to do something with like crypto or whatnot, well, I can send you to this. Those partners come in and they bought a bunch from us. You can go buy it from them, So that is super cool for all of our community, because we feel like, of course, many of you know, and those that know me very well, they know that we could have done many different methods to get rich quick and all of the stuff. I mean, yes, we've done well in our life and done in living comfortably and all that, but we feel like in this project, every temptation is to get me a quick win and then let others lose. I cannot take it. I cannot take it. I can only take things that if they would give me the ability to win a lot, well, like pump and pump. I don't take pump and dump. There's no such thing. So if you know certain credible people in the crypto space that they want to partake in this entity, that it's being formed, or they might do it to some existing company, unlikely to do it to existing company. I don't expect Coinbase themselves to come in, but they can do it similar to like the Base project or something like that. This is a good opportunity for people to come in and partner in that one and get CXOs. I can act as CEO if they want me in that one for a period of time until like we've got some super duper solid CEO. It is not my expertise in crypto. I have a lot of expertise in cryptography. You know, I can have a lot of expertise in computer science, in game theory, and network topology, and all that. And I combine all of the stuff. Anything that is algorithms and protocols, I master that really well. But I don't want to take that role a bit beyond a certain time when it actually grows. I can easily envision an entity that can be in the tens of billions of dollars, possibly hundreds, that actually take that and start growing in that methodology, because that can enable the millions of people to become more on the supply side of AI, as opposed to they just want to sit back and be consumers. And a lot of people have that desire to do so. So if certain folks in the crypto world are well-intended, that they've done well, they're successful, they know how that game is played when it comes to liquidity, all of these things, that knowing all the necessary exchanges, they have good relationship with existing banks and bridges and all of the stuff. We want to talk to them, and hopefully we can have this to the benefit of all the community. So this is not something that's like, oh, great, good for you, HyperCycle, you guys get to go do this. This is any node factory owner that they're doing the work they're doing, telling they have the ability to go and plug it into this. It's kind of like your ability to have some liquidity to sell your nodes during that channel. All of those that we're working on, their channels to enable node factory owners to sell their nodes or deploy their nodes, utilize their nodes, lease their nodes, because that's what we do. We've built those node factories so you can produce nodes. But if those nodes, they have a lot of utility, then you become successful. You become successful. We become successful. That's why we invite partners and affiliates and many of you to feel like, if you know the right folks, please reach out to perhaps Anthony and anyone here that you know, or you can DM me directly on the Twitter or whatnot. That just like I shouldn't have said actually that option, because I'm like horrible at responding and get like thousands of messages. But like, yeah, if it comes down to that, like, I mean, do it. But it's just it's super exciting to go in all of those directions and finally figure out a method that can split off all of those things that the people they want to do crypto, put them, give them the freedom to do whatever they want, let them excel at it, let them have a blank slate, design cryptonomics, do all kind of stuff. For every single node factory owner, they become because you're producers of those nodes, kind of like the metaphor for people that they are the crypto, the way they said it to me, it's kind of like they're miners. So there's like, you have 1,733 miners, great. Some of them, they want to come in and give me their Bitcoin, some of them they don't. So it's like it's super cool to actually be working and having that. Yeah. So as we brainstorm more on this, please intro to folks. There's a lot of wind that they can get on their end, and that's good for them. That's how we do it. We want to do things that can, if the tables were reversed, we feel like we're getting the best deal ever, and here it is. So that's my long answer to your remark about knowing or wanting to know about, because you said when Tufi joins, like, want to learn more about that thing that he mentioned on that podcast yesterday, which was very good podcast, by the way. It's super awesome. For those that didn't know Justin, you should get to know him. Like, this guy's awesome. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you, Tiffy. That was very comprehensive. Yeah, if you've got any questions, please put your hand up. We'll bring you up on the stage. I'll just remind everyone as well that your node factories currently are earning 7% APR in the HYPC. So if you did listen to what Tufi has outlined, the plan moving forward, when that comes to fruition, if you've got them in with licenses, married, making the node factories, unlocking the nodes, that provides you a further benefit, if that makes sense, because that's where the value lies. We have one request to speak from Robin. She's just coming to the stage. We'll just give her one moment.
Oh, are you asking me to speak? Yeah, I have two questions about. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. I have two questions about the opportunities that Tufi mentioned. I was trying to write him in the TG chat, but when you said that there's a $25 million for any country that joins, was that just for the other countries in the GCC, or would that be for like U.S. federal organizations?
Can I add a third option?
Yeah.
Or have to answer, or just give you one of those two? Okay. It's any country anywhere in the world that they know that they are neutral. They're not like, they're basically we're super proud that made and born in the United States, HyperCycle is and will always be. But we also know that the geopolitical things to go from there into the entire world is a bit difficult today. So that's one of the reasons why the GCC comes into play, and the move to a headquarters there. But it's to spread into all nations. So it could be a nation you might say, it's like, oh, hey, I know the president of France, and they've got they can easily deploy 225 million into their economy. They can choose to call it HyperCycle France if they want to, or HyperCycle Europe, or they can call it any name they want. They can call it the France Internet of AI, whatever. This is available from the GCC raise that we that was announced by the UAE folks in September. That they're taking from 200 million, they're chunking it into 8 different pieces, 25 million each. So the use of funds of that is to be invested into that country. So that 25 million will be sent into that company that goes and does that in France. And $200 million of node factories at the then price. Like, if only Korea got the 850 million, everyone else would be getting 200 million. So if it's 200 million at the $5,000 node factory raw, that means it's about $10,000, 850 for the ones that has a C8 in it, because C8 was listed today for 7,249. And again, I'm talking about all whole prices. So when there's a backing for this, it helps them deploy it massively into a region, because there is a backing, and that backing, they might get it to be certified. They might get it to be cryptofied. I don't know how they would do it. They can do it however they want, as long as it's pleasing to a lot of the businesses to adopt that very, very rapidly. So the more they sell, the more they get to free up that capital. And of course, the rules in order for how they would do it, it would involve like something in the tilling. So it would be like, if let's say we go to that example in France, and they get, let's say, a sale for like $10 million of node factory into a company in Monaco called XYZ Inc. And that company ends up, well, Monaco is not France, let's say in Cannes. And they take that, and then they would be like, okay, we put them, we start doing the tilling to produce the nodes, but then we feel like after 11 months, maybe this is not for us, that they can go to that, let's say, smart contract, press on the button and get that backing that is like 5,000 to get it back from them. You know, if they know that they have this ability and it's audited in smart contract and all that, it facilitates them to make that decision, because they feel like, well, I'm buying it for 4,000 now. The worst thing can happen in 11 months. I feel it's not for me. I can press on the button and then I take 5,000. So it's like, so the effort that I'm doing to do the whatever tilling and all that from now until 11 months and the use of capital is being paid off. And that's for the raw. And if it's like the one that is filled up with the C8, let's say it is $10,000, because it is, it's additive. The C8, they're additive to it. But this is the backing is for the raw $5,000 today. This is what was announced out of South Korea, and it will be announced by at least I envision 1 or 2 countries before Christmas. But again, I know that I can tell you with 100% certainty we're talking to a few of them, but that's what we have on the table now. Because we have that, I can tell you that there's competition over regions. So we're getting offers from some of them to come and say like, okay, we offer this to France. We in Germany can do this, and some businessman in Germany wants to buy $20 million with node factories today from you guys also. Well, that is happening because he loves this opportunity. He thinks he wants to get that going. Okay, great. We'll take that purchase order. Fantastic. But then as we're progressing with purchase order, somebody comes in from Sweden and says like, I'll buy $100 million of the like node factories, you know. So that's happening as we speak. So when you hear the announcement for subsequent countries, you will see that it's you will see that why South Korea got like the best deal ever. Of course, it's all coming from a GCC that's leading this entire Internet of AI. And leading the Internet of AI is not like winning the AI race. It's not at all the same. Leading the Internet of AI is more like leading the collaborative aspects of AI. So no longer people thinking of an AI race. They're thinking it's more as a collaborative setting that can still enable a lot of competition, but also collaboration. And that's what we stand for in HyperCycle. And that's why we feel like we want to stand besides those neutral countries. So that's one of the methods that I've described. Yes, I hope that answered your question,
Well,
Robin.
yeah, I'm asking because next month I'm meeting with somebody who just testified to Congress about a way to regulate the current LLMs. He's been an advisor to a lot of the federal departments, like very trusted advisors.
Yeah, is that David? Are you talking about David Bray?
Yes.
Or who? Oh yeah, I know David very well.
Okay. Well, okay. So David,
he's one of us one way or another. He's actually one of us with one of the quantum companies that we've invested in a while back, and that company, by the way, is like it's about to make some major big thing soon.
Okay. Well,
we know another.
If he already knows about HyperCycle, I'm meeting him through where I met him through we're trying to put an AIM onto some of our nodes with the battery coin that has the contract to decentralize the versus AI, which is the active inference. So I know that he'll be interested in using HyperCycle nodes for that. But these federal organizations that he works with, they need decentralization because like he's an expert in disaster response.
Yes.
Yeah. So all right. Well, I'd love more information.
Yes. Believe me, there's a lot of work that I'm doing with a lot of nations that I cannot talk about unless they talk about it. So we remind people we're not in politics whatsoever, zero politics. I spend about 5 or 6 hours this past night, and this morning about 3 hours, just reassuring people in Africa that we're not, because people, they get concerned when they see certain tension in politics, whatnot. The only country that I know that we cannot go into is North Korea, because so far they don't want us there. We are here for everyone. If you were to get the description of what we stand for, you can check the IEEE. I still do. I'm still the global chair for the international protocols for AI securities for the IEEE, and I take that very seriously. This is a service that I do, and I serve that very, very seriously and diligently. So, no matter what, I want to continue with the ethics and all that the IEEE brings into the world. IEEE is the largest in the world for 170,000 people. HyperCycle is not part of IEEE, I can tell you that. But I can tell you that we've tried a lot of methods with the IEEE to bring this Internet of AI to the world, and I think this is one of the hats that I wear is with the IEEE, and I wear a lot of other hats, and one of them being friends with David for so many years. And I know that there's a lot of stuff that I work on. I can't even tell him that, and he works on a lot of stuff he can't tell me. But you can, if you like, just since you said you're gonna be talking to him, and I hope he's not listening here on this one. Just say to him en passant, saying like, you know what, I'm actually plugged in deep into the Internet of AI. I'm not sure if you know about it. I want to introduce you to it. Let me introduce you to Tufi, and then watch his reaction. Please watch his reaction, because he's very, very close as well with the inventor of the TCP IP. Vin Cerf.
I don't. But
okay. So Vin Cerf, yeah. So tell him like. Then when he's like, oh yeah, of course, Tufi. Then like, oh wow, so the inventor of the Internet of Humans and now the Internet of AI. David is a phenomenal human being, no matter how you swing it. It's just the way it is.
Oh yeah, I know. He's one of my favorite people after what I heard him say to Congress. Okay, so but I just have another quick question, because you gave a lot of opportunities, but the one that really caught my ear that I couldn't quite grasp is that when you were talking about the node unlocks, and you were talking about, you said you're looking for entities for 10% of something to do with those node unlocks. Can you explain that a little
more? Oh yeah. Okay. So we have a finite set of node factories in HyperCycle from the get-go. That finite set equals to about 2.2 million node factories, and currently there's 650,000 of them, or 680,000 of them. They're spread out between 1,733 different entities. Okay. So, but that finite set, if somebody wants to come in and say that I'm willing to buy 10% of all the supply that can ever be provided, that means that they're buying the nodes that they've been produced by the node factory. So if somebody wants to plug it into their pool or whatnot, that will count towards that, like let's say that 10%, because that's how much they want to come in. So far, the guys that I talked to, they came in very aggressively. They said they wanted like 30%. And I'm like, wait, let's go one step at a time. Maybe we can go 10. We might end up settling for like maybe 20. They want to make it worth their while to attract like some of like, multi-billions of people in liquidity and all that, because they can really see it as a long-term play to enable millions of people to partake in the supply of the Internet of AI. That's pretty much like how their pitch, they think, would go to the world, because currently HyperCycle provides with the node factory owners, and you probably heard that there's a lot of sophistication being a node factory owner. It's kind of like if we were to reverse time going back to the 90s, it's kind of like you guys, they were like the internet service providers. There's a lot of sophistication in your existence. You can't expect that to go to the millions. But if that entity, they want to go and provide, Joe Sixpack to partake in this, That's great, very good, amazing, because just I can buy maybe one token, one node that's gonna, one node, not node factory, one node that's gonna come out in 6 months, and why they buy it for $66? Because they're buying it 6 months before you produce it. Now, you know very well, Robin, how the process works, and you know for certainty you're gonna get it done in 5 months, but you tell the guy in 6 months, so then he's gonna be happy. You exceed his expectations, but he spent $66 and feels like, how can I do this and get to co-own this? So yeah, that's basically where this comes from. They might round it differently. They might say not one W node. They might say every 100 W nodes give you access to one node. So then that way they can have it for 66 cents to begin with or whatnot. But it's still good for you because you feel like, well, some of my nodes that I'm going to produce, I can get some liquidity from these guys. They buy it from them and then spread it into the world. It's a win-win. So that's what I mean by that 10%.
Okay, I think I understand that, but that was right after that you started talking about the people with crypto expertise. So that the crypto expertise is not needed for this 10% of the node unlocks. That was different, right?
Oh yeah, no. This is more for people that are gonna lead that company because they're gonna run this company, lead it, and all that. I'm spread way too thin. Like there's like, if you look at the Project C8, I'm involved in every one of those companies that they do in Project C8. So, and I'm dealing with like a lot of prime ministers and presidents of countries, and I'm and I still have like 7 kids, and maybe 8 by, I don't know, I can't, I lost count, but like, so I really think that I need to continue focusing on the entire HyperCycle node factories and all that. So I can help them transition. So, but we need to talk to a lot of folks that they've done phenomenal job at crypto, and they want to look at opportunity that they can provide to that maybe 1% or the 2% from the crypto folks, maybe 10%. I don't know. I didn't do the stats, but what I know for sure is like it's not the majority. The minority of people in crypto, they really want to do things that they are partaking in something that is good for the long term, and not do pump and dump schemes and whatnot. So, which means that there's a market for it, and I'm hearing it from these guys. They're telling me there is a market. So, if I end up partnering with these guys, who's gonna like run that thing? Perhaps having 2 or 3 different CXOs and maybe a couple companies. Maybe somebody might say like, oh no, don't give it all to Coinbase. Let's do this deal. You can do like 5 different exchanges and through the 3 DAOs or whatnot. Somebody really needs to manage this. So that's why I really need a lot of CXOs and the people who have that expertise with liquidity and cryptonomics and all this stuff.
Okay, so yeah, so if you're talking about co-COOs and CEOs, I do have someone who owns a very ethical crypto exchange. So I'll follow up with Ox about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Thank you, Robin. And yeah, Okan is a great person to speak to. We do have one more, Padre. Do you have time, Tufi?
Yeah, I have 6 more minutes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Padre, you have a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
Tufi, right now with HMS, so they're basically taking the revenue from our nodes to like cover their operating costs and everything else, and then like we get the leftovers as the pool revenue right now. Can I ask when can we actually expect to see an increase in the income from HMS? Considering we keep hearing about like AIMS making like tens to like hundreds of dollars.
Oh, okay. So, so you get money, and but you're not giving away that wealth creation. You're not giving away your nodes, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're a node factory owner. Okay. So as a node factory owner, the only way that I know that I've built that you can make money is making nodes. That's the only way you can make money. From my perspective, what we have designed is a method for nodes to be created Now, I know that the more and more that there's demand for those nodes, the more that they have value, because guess what? Maybe a client is going to come in and buy all your nodes, and they're going to have zero revenue, but they're intended into more intelligence because they probably work in security for a city or for a mall or whatnot, and they want their AI to be smarter. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because that is one of the two that HyperCycle nodes, they're needed. And if it is one or two, it's extremely important to talk about it, because that means it's zero from that revenue that you're talking about, but it's more revenue to you because you're the one who produces nodes. So when we say that the nodes that you're producing, you have the capability of producing 1024 nodes, and so far we're seeing that the certified assessment entities, they're giving value to those nodes to be more than $535. That's their stuff, to $2,000. That's the nodes, the value of the nodes, not the node factories. We take it with a grain of salt until we actually see reports that it's fine and all that. But so far, it's looking like nobody is telling us it's going to be less than $150. And that's why we feel like if people, they have a node factory, they're generating something that's $150. It's like if you own a car factory and a car factory produces cars, they're worth, $50,000. Sure, some people, they're going to buy that cars from you to be Uber drivers and make money from the cars. But that is different. The value the way you make money is you make the cars. Those cars are valuable. Some people, they need them to sightseeing. Some people, they need them to make money from them. That example of cars is not so good, but back to the nodes, the AI that's going to utilize your nodes, some of them, they wanted to add more intelligence. Some of them, they wanted to have to add more revenue. In those that they want to add more intelligence, they end up they buy it and they want to spend more money on it. It's like you buy the car and you still have to go and fill it up with electricity or fill it up with gas. It's not like you bought the car and it's going to drive for free. And same with those people, they got that node. If they want to buy intelligence, that's what that node gives them. Now, someone else in the community might have the nodes that they want to receive more revenue. So the current setup that the HMS folks set it up, and they get you some of that revenue while you're still increasing the value and producing those nodes. It's like somebody says, like, here, let me take your car factory, and you're not going to spend electricity on that car factory anymore. You're not going to spend management. You're going to do anything. And I'm going to accelerate your production of cars. I think that's what HMS, they're doing while doing all of the stuff. And we're still going to send you some of that money. Now, I don't know why if it was me, like, I don't get involved in every single department, every single entity all the way through. I let people, if I get a good chef, let the chef, cook the way they cook. Like, I wouldn't have done it that there's money that's going to go to people, because people, they're misunderstanding it. Like, I think rightfully so. People, they misunderstand it. They think that this is how much my node factory is going to make. No, this is not what it's making. But it's accelerating your capability of producing cars. And this is showing you that if some of those cars that they even go right now and start like driving as Uber drivers or whatnot, when nobody, like very few that they know of it, they still get some of that money channeled to the car factory owner. So yeah, I really thank you for that question. That's a very, very, very good question, because a lot of people, they think it's like, oh, we started like making money with our node factories. No, this is not the real money that you're making. Your node factories is actually producing nodes. That's the real thing. So if you're already in stage L9 and you're approaching L8, you can do the math of like how you're getting to the finish line. The finish line, it takes about let's say 5 years, 5.5 years. We tell those assessment agencies 6 years to be more conservative. But if you're optimizing your tilling, you should be done in 4.5 years from the get-go. But let's take this 6 years total. In that 6 years, you're producing 1,024 nodes. In the node is nobody's telling you is worth less than 150. That is the money that the node factory owners they're making, because they're doing all the work to produce those nodes, including the thoughts that you're putting through, including the time that you're putting to listen to me, including the money that you spent in it, and the time that you have to do the learning, all of that. That's effort that you're doing, and you're getting that to be paid off by that. That's the work that you're doing. So like it is well deserved compensation to expect the least of, and that's so far what we're saying, that when we say the 150 is the least that we're seeing from those assessment third-party assessments and others in the industry, in the objective reality, where they say this node adds this much value for my AI or it can generate this much revenue. So if it can do that, if the node can generate $3 a month, they're saying at the lowest possible, it would be more than $150 in value of that node. I hope my long answer addressed your questions.
It did for the most part. So basically what you're saying, Tufi, is that we shouldn't really be expecting revenue from our nodes. The way to make money with our node factories and on fees is waiting for the splits to happen and then selling off the nodes that we make from that. So that would be the money vehicle for this.
For the node factory, yes, but I wouldn't say what you should do. You shouldn't, because many node factory owners, they also want to be node owners. Like they want to run the car factory, for example, produce the cars, and they want to own and 1,000 Ubers or whatnot. Like each one they can optimize and maximize and have like multiple of wins in their equation and the multiple of multiples. And that's good for them. This is great. Some other people we need to optimize for the most common denominator, which is that most people, they want to have those node factories because they can produce those nodes, and they know that those nodes, there's a demand for them in the world, because even if my mom would call me and tell me, Tufi, come on, give me a couple of free nodes. My answer to my mom, I need to have a node factory to produce them, and I'd do anything for my mom. When I say that, she's like, "This is." I happen to be lucky, have a very good relationship with my mom. I know some friends they don't. So when I say my mom, it's like wow. It's like wow. It's like even his mother or my daughter or my son, whatever. My point is, it's like no, like, and I'm like the author of Torah IP, the architect behind HyperCycle and all of that. I cannot do it unless I actually do the work that every single one of you do. I need to do the exact same work that every one of the 1,000, 633 entities they would have to do to actually generate those nodes. Those nodes require that work to be generated, and that's why, like, I think the folks that they put the HMS together, I feel like they've done a great service. I just wish that they didn't add that money part, because it's confusing people. It's kind of like, dude, like I own a car factory. Why you're sending me like chunky change that like one Uber driver that took that car and driving it? Like, come on, I don't want that. That's me. That's how I think. But some people, they say like, no, send me every single penny, every single Uber driver. This is good. That's good too. In general, it's a decision that they've made, and I let them do the decision. I back them. If you have a chef in the kitchen, let the chef do whatever they want. I'm just saying that if I were to make that salad, I wouldn't have put this much salt.
All right.
Just to avoid the confusion, basically.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro.
A lot of things to think about. Yeah, thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, this is great. And I think when we have further news about that channel, whether it is like the telco that they want to, actually it started with the telco folks that they wanted to come in and buy a bunch of massive amount of nodes, and then another folks that they're in the crypto space that they started thinking about it in crypto. When that happens, I think it would be good for all of us, because I think the more and more we have markets and people that they want to buy those nodes, even if they don't want to give me $150, but they're willing to give me $21 today, well, I know that the 150 is coming in, let's say, December. Sometimes it's good to kind of diversify that a bit. I'll give them some, I'll keep some, and then that way they can enable Joe Sixpack to come in, and I think it's something that for each his own. People, they can decide whatever they want. The way what we're doing in the company, we're doing it work for everyone equally. Like it is not something that we're doing so, oh, look at that, they're doing this so they can actually go and sell more just for them. No, we're doing it for every node factory owner. Sure, we might put some ourselves, but same as everyone, we will have the exact same contract that will go and put it there and make it available for everyone. And same with those telco folks. If they come in and say like, hey, we're interested in buying nodes, great, fantastic. You know what? I actually didn't think we get to that stage. I thought that we're gonna wait until those L9s they've given L8s and they are actually released to then start worrying about selling nodes. But if the market is that thirsty, they want to start grabbing it ahead of time, that's fantastic. They're willing to pay $21 now for nodes that I produce in 9 months. That's great, because I can produce 1,024 of those nodes in 21. Multiply by 1,024, that's already $21,000. That's way more than the $5,000 that is being backed by nations. So I think it's yeah. Anyway, we keep doing more and more brainstorming, guys. Like, please don't take those exact numbers, $21. They might say that like, no, we're not going to pay 21. We want to pay 15. I don't know. Or they might say, wait, we could even afford 30. I don't know. I think they might test it and see like how many node factory owners would actually plug theirs in there, and they start pre-buying nodes ahead of time. That is what I hope folks like Padre would then see, that it's like, oh man, look at that, I have node factories producing nodes, and these guys, I sell my nodes to them, and I don't care what they do with them. But that I'm done. It's like I'm a car factory owner, and I have some company that it's called Hertz. They rent cars. They come in and pre-buy all my next production for the next 2 years. All right, fantastic. It's great. They get a good deal. They pay a discount because they haven't really released those cars, and I'm happy. They're happy. So that's how we see it, as a capability for any node factory owners to go and plug it in there, and having those buyers to take them from there. Cool. All right. I am 8 minutes late now. I should run.
Thank you,
Thanks so much,
Tufi.
guys.
Thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All awesome. Let's grow more that base solid, and see you next time.
Thank you, Tufi. Thanks so much for speaking. We do have one more request. I'll just see. Oh, it's Cruising on Crypto. Sorry if you wanted to ask Tufi a question. He had gone well over. You can ask me if you like, Cruising. I can see if I can answer it.
Can you hear Cruising? Because I can't.
No.
Yeah, I'm here.
He's come up now. Hey, Cruising.
It got muted. So I think it was more of a question for Tufi, but I'll give it a shot. So in my little HyperCycle on the last spaces, Tufi mentioned that per node per month price of earnings could be $10 a month, and his estimates saying that were low, but he likes to lowball, and he said, $3, maybe $5, start with that, and so on. So then we have a complete shift now with now selling the free nodes, meaning as they split and no longer produce nodes, those become free from the process and those can be sold. Is it a combination of that? That's part A. Part B is if it's a per node per month, is that as an operator or as an owner?
Yeah, you wanted to answer this, or you want me to?
Right. I can fire away on that. HyperCycle and Tufi sell node factories. That's what HyperCycle does. They won't compete with their customers or their partners. They sell node factories. HyperPG connects for pieces. They connect operators, AI developers, businesses, node factory owners. So they're developing this marketplace. As a factory owner, so if we go back to the very beginning of the tech space, I said what happens when you deploy your AI to the Internet of AI? You can either increase your AI's intelligence or generate more revenue. That's what AI deployed to the Internet of AI will do. As a factory owner, you can choose whichever path you want to take. You can be a network node seller. So, for example, Tufi mentioned it earlier, when he told me how much the early offers would be for unlocked network nodes, and I get it, $21 per node is great because your level 10 produces 1,024. But I said, no way, I'm not interested. But there'll be some people who may want to do that. They may want to generate some liquidity, and they're free to do so. And having a marketplace where they can sell their unlocked nodes is only a positive thing. Others may want to do what Tufi's talking about, which is just producing all those nodes, holding, waiting until the Internet of AI is in a mature state, waiting for that supply to exhaust on the factories, and then demanding a much higher yield for their network nodes. And then other people might not want to do any of that at all. They might want to just hold on to their node factory, continue to unlock network nodes, have aims deployed to them, and generate revenue on a per node per month basis. So HyperPG, what they are doing is they are helping connect a marketplace where that can happen. If you're somebody who wants to buy unlocked network nodes, you can. If you're somebody that wants to sell unlocked network nodes, you can. If you're somebody that has AI that you want to deploy, but you don't have a factory, you can connect with a factory owner and deploy your AIM that way. Or you may have your own factories, but you just want to deploy your AIM to more factories. It's HyperCycle's not going to dictate how you do that. Obviously, Tufi, he has his viewpoint based on what he's hearing and seeing from people, and what he's hearing and seeing from lots of people is they want higher intelligence. That's where they see the real value. But I've spoken to other people who just want more revenue. They want to deploy aims and generate revenue. No one can really say what the Internet of AI will look like 6 months, 1 year, 5 years from now, because it's the first time it's being built. You don't know what it's going to look like. But yeah, you're not restricted. The opportunities are there, whichever path you want to take. So in answer to Padre's question, he asked Tufi, and Tufi gave his answer. But he also respectfully said that he does respect how HyperPG have decided they want to move forward. I have my viewpoints. Ethan has his. You may have yours. There is no set rule for the Internet of AI. There's no set rule for how you decide you want to operate your factory. What there is a commitment from HyperCycle that any expansion and business growth and benefit that HyperCycle gains will be benefit for all. It won't just be HyperCycle hoarding that benefit for themselves and leaving factory owners on their own. And for any, and what HyperPG is doing is saying, okay, we need to build an example marketplace. We need to have a place where developers, builders can go and they can innovate and create these marketplaces for the Internet of AI to give everybody here the maximum options, especially people like me who don't have development skills. I need that. There's other people that have great skills and they'll do probably better than me. That's fantastic for them. I'm happy for them. But yeah, that's what HyperPG is doing. So I hope that clears and answers your question.
Kind of, because I'm kind of like in the middle between you and Ray. I've been in the technical space and can probably figure out many things, but initially we were all under the, I won't say guys, but we were all under the impression that we were going to have multiple data centers, that we could have pools, that we could drop our things in, and I understand how HyperCycle has organically grown. And so it sounds to me like these are different business models and you can choose whatever percentage. Like when Tupi was first talking about the Internet of AI and making your aims smarter with knowledge, intelligence, then I was going to take 25% of my nodes and move them in that direction, and then continue some in the revenue space. So as they split, I would take a portion of those and leave them as intelligence, and then the other ones I would leave for revenue generation. But we'll have to see if the revenue generation is something that takes off or not.
I see no reason why the revenue generation wouldn't take off. I have a similar strategy to yourself.
Okay.
If an opportunity comes to get liquidity, and I need it, we all have expenses, we all have bills, then I may allocate a portion that path. But at the same time, I have nodes. And if there's aims that I can connect with and they can deploy on my nodes, and my nodes can generate revenue from machine-to-machine transactions, then I'll do that as well. We can't say now which will be the best, what the best decision is, or anything like that.
Exactly.
That's what we can't say. We just have our own opinions, and we'll watch this as it evolves. But I think there's enough happening now to see that this is building a head of froth, a head of steam, and it's getting to that place where it should, really start to take off now.
Yeah, because each spaces that we have, and I've been on every one of them, each spaces that we have, we hear more and more uses and more opportunities. So, it's becoming this growing organic thing. So it's fun to be in, and I'm excited to see, as everyone is, how this grows and where it leads us all.
I would also love to hear more about like the timelines
Yes,
for actually
definitely.
scaling the revenue for us early investors, because like a lot of us invested in HyperCycle with that passive income proposition that we were given like 2+ years ago now at this point, and it sounds like the passive income revenue generation is still a very long ways off from how you're positioning right now. Is this the case, or is this something that we can actually see a decent and noticeable increase in the near to midterm?
You want that, Antonis, or?
What do you? Yeah, you can answer that, Ethan.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think one of the issues here is that it's the language surrounding the project, right? So you have node factories and you have nodes, just like Tufi gave an example. You have a car factory, say Toyota, and you have cars. Once those cars leave the factory, they can become, I don't know, Ubers, taxis, etc. So what we have right now is we have node factories, and once they unlock, they will unlock nodes. Uh, Once you get your nodes, you can keep your nodes for yourself. Toyota can start their own Uber sector, right, with their own cars that they produce, and you can make revenue that way. But right now, what we have are node factories, and our main job is to produce nodes or to produce cars, essentially. So that's essentially what's going on. So people I think, are conflating node factories with the nodes themselves. And they're like, where's the revenue generation off my node factory? And it's like, no, the node factory's job is to produce the node. Once you get the node, if you want to run Uber, if you want to take a car and be a race car driver and make money, prize money off of winning races, that's gonna be up to you. I think a lot of that comes in with the education of the educational courses that are going to come out, because once you get the technical skills to operate your node, you can then put aims on them and make money on the Internet of AI in any way that you see fit.
Ethan, if I can jump in for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So I agree with that methodology. What becomes difficult from the node owner perspective is the hardware and the scaling of this. So I love doing the node operation. I've been in that, and it's absolutely fun and exciting. But I can't see myself managing. I have hundreds of node factories, and I can't imagine trying to operate all of those. So this is where the balance comes in, and I think that's what the other party is trying to get at is, do we need to be an operator? Do we need to be just the owner and the passive income part? So I think it's just going to grow organically. We're going to see a lot more diverse hats as this grows and matures. And I think opportunity will present itself the way it presents itself. And no matter what, us early investors have the advantage because the value grows, and then it just becomes worth more for us when we are able to seize whatever that opportunity might be.
Yeah, and I think that's also why HMS is a thing, right? They have the hardware there, right? To go
Right.
ahead and do this for you. And like you said, as the community grows, there'll be other people that will bring in hardware. I mentioned earlier in the space about piecemealing resources, right? Or crowdsourcing things, right? There'll be
Right.
people who have hardware, but they don't have nodes, right? So how we build this out, I mean, that's yet to be seen, but that's all of that optionality is there to do all of that.
Yeah, and I think it's a wait and see at this point because it's still so young.
Absolutely.
So
So
I'm
yeah,
excited either way.
just to reiterate again, if you are Toyota, yes, you can take your Toyota Camrys and create a fleet of Ubers for yourself to generate
Right.
revenue. So yeah,
While still selling them at wholesale.
exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That's that hybrid business model. So
What
I get it.
What I'll add as well, to Padre, who effectively the direct question was, if I don't want to sell nodes, if I just want to sit my nodes and earn revenue on a per month, when would that figure be? I can't give an estimate on that because there's so much in motion. For example, there's hackathons, there's source code, there's some IP that would need to open up. There's advanced aims in development. So to give an estimate now, if I was to say 3 weeks from now, or 12 months from now, it would be just a valid guess. So I do understand that side of the question, but I just couldn't give an answer now, and no one could give an answer, even if we spoke to C-suite members. It's evolving. There is development in progress. There is the strategy, as we've said, with the education and the hackathons, and obviously connecting the pieces, but we can't possibly give any sort of accurate answer to that at this moment in time.
No,
of course.
We need to see demand and purpose before we can see anything else.
So from what I understand, we need to wait until at least Q1 next year when we can actually unlock our nodes, right? When we have the split functionality added, and then we can actually start to use our nodes and not our node factories to be able to make any form of revenue. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's essentially, again, if you want to use those nodes. if you want to use those nodes to run Uber, right, or use those cars that you've produced from your car factory to run Uber, or like I said, to become a race car driver and earn revenue from prize money of winning races, or whatever you want to do, right, or running Uber Eats, whatever, right? We need the nodes. Then your node can increase the intelligence or earn the revenue, etc. But the job of the node factory is to produce the nodes that will go on to do these things.
But your boundary node can still run AIMS, right?
The boundary node from the white paper.
The,
Oh, go ahead,
the,
Anthony. You got it. Sorry.
yeah, so the obviously, if people read the original white paper and then read the latest white paper, there is a difference in how it works. The boundary node is tilling only, but the boundary node is not so much relevant to the existing node factories here because you've effectively already gone through that process because you bought the factories a while ago and they've been tilling for quite a while. That would be the boundary node would more come into play for amphis that were being sold today, factories that were being sold today, as opposed to anyone else. But yeah, the boundary node would be tilling only, so it would till for the next 18 months because it doesn't have the transaction machine. And then when it produced the two level nines, they would then begin the computing process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So score one for the early adopters then who have been tilling all along and can split right away.
Yeah, it's about work. You have to put the work in.
Absolutely.
It's the same with Bitcoin. To give things value, there needs to be work. You can't just buy an amphi today, and be at the exact same place that somebody was who bought their amphi 2 years ago. They bought their factory 2 years ago.
Right.
But not to discourage new people because it's all there for you. That you if you purchase the factory and you put the work in, you will in 6 years have those 10 unlocks and have those 1,024 network nodes.
Excellent. Well, I think I've taken enough of everyone's time, so I'll bow
Can
out.
I ask a quick follow-up?
Yep.
Did Tufi say that developing the unlock technology is now a priority, since if that's the way to make money right now and some of us are way over the hours required, is that a priority on the dev list?
That is, yeah. So I don't want to reveal too much, but there will be an initiative starting as early as next week, just to give a little bit more insight into the development. But that of course is a priority, and that is estimated to be ready Q1 2026. But I think with the new initiative that's going, you'll be able to see just sort of how much progress is being made daily, because it really is. Things are you don't see it on your side, but there is things that are really moving very quickly now. I've never seen development move so fast, and with the new initiative, you will start to see that as well, and hopefully it will clear things up for a lot of people here.
That would be cool. I just wanted to throw in a suggestion. For the people who are over the tilling hours that went way over where it needs to be, maybe you could offer them, because I think it's like the master node owners are going to get more of the education tickets or whatever. But like maybe the ones who have extra hours and have waited over the time to unlock could get tickets to give to other people or for themselves. Would be awesome makeup for that.
Much better than that. If your node has gone past that, your node is now working towards level 8. Your node is about 5 months away from level 8. So
right.
Don't worry about what's showing on Explorer.
I will say about HyperCycle, you guys are good at making up for things. It's just we have to have patience.
Well, it's actually, it's the mathematical algorithm. So they've mathematically done what they needed to do to reach level 9, and now they're mathematically doing what they need to do to reach level 8. Where the holdup is getting that as a actionable front end piece. So they've followed the rules and reached the algorithmic, can't say the word now, but they've done that mathematically. It's just now showing that on the front end and having people actually have those unlocked nodes in their wallet. If that makes sense. It is. We've gone 50 minutes over, but it's been enjoyable. I hope everyone is somewhat clearer, or maybe less clearer. Who knows? But we will be back on the Friday, the 21st of November. And obviously, if there is further questions, please just drop them down, send them to me closer to the time, and we can try to address them in the next X-Space. And thank you everyone for asking the questions as well. We do welcome it. We do like it when people come up on stage, because it helps us know what people are thinking when we're discussing. Thank you,
Thank you as
Ethan,
always.
for being co-host, and thank you once again.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, everyone.